So hi everyone, we're Industry Falcon. I'm Kayla.
I'm Frank.
I'm Morgan. So just a basic overview of the major decisions that we made in the market share simulation. So period 6 was probably our first big decision when we decided to cut move. It just wasn't producing what we needed it to, and we honestly probably kept it in the market for a little bit too long. I feel like if we made the decision to get rid of it sooner, we would have seen an increase in revenue for the other products that we had. Period 8, we used R&D to move brands closer to their target market on the multi-dimensional scaling, and we tried to perfect most because that was the product that we were seeing the most return from. And then period 9, we entered the Bodega market, and as I previously said, I feel like if we, because when we did enter the Bodega market, even though we entered it pretty late, we were okay as far as where we positioned our product. I feel like if we made that decision a few periods ahead of time, we would have been able to get more from the Bodega market. So this just shows our financial statement. So period 10, we had a little bit of a drop off. The jump from period 8 to period 9 was definitely our best period. That's when I said that we did the R&D for most. So, and that will be one of the lessons we learned about R&D. Period 10's drop off mostly was a result of, we tried to do an R&D project for another product that we had money, and we ended up overproducing, so the carrying cost for that ended up really hurting us. So just some more visuals just to show the drop off that we had from period 9 to period 10, but at the same time we did have a very solid increase from period 8 to period 9. And then these were the products that we ended up having in the market. As you can see, most was our most profitable product. Meds was the one that we entered into the Bodega market, which ended up being an okay product, but like we said, it could have definitely been more worthwhile if we entered the Bodega market a little bit sooner and made the adjustment in time before the simulation ended. And then just to continue further, Most was our most competitive product, as you can see, and it was the top selling brand for volume in our market. Some more graphs just to show that at the beginning we had a slow start. It was, as a lot of groups said, we were trying to figure out the simulation, so that was a little bit of a learning curve for us, but then once we started to realize the importance of R&D, we started to steadily increase with the exception of the drop-off in period 10. And then just another visual of that.
So, like as Michaela's been saying, we learned that R&D was very important, not only when it comes to improving our products, but when it came to entering the Bodega market. And the graph on the left shows how much we ended up spending on R&D for period 9 and how much that really helped us for 9 and 10. And I feel like if we just did that sooner, if we figured that out much sooner, we would have had a lot more revenue and would have been much more successful. A real world example would be Google. They spend more money on R&D than many other very profitable companies. They spend $8 billion. And they say our product development philosophy is to launch innovative products early and often, and then iterate rapidly to make those products even better. They spend 13.2% of all their revenue on R&D, which really goes to show how much it helps them.
So the second thing that we learned that it's important to spend money where you can make money. That goes into what we said, the R&D projects focusing on Most, since that was our most profitable brand, and then also going off of that, getting rid of the products that aren't producing, which is what we did in Move for period 6, which was like halfway between, halfway through the simulation, and if we made that decision sooner, it would have definitely paid off. So relating this to Coke 2, or New Coke, that came out in 1985. Coke found that when conducting blind taste tests with Pepsi, that Pepsi was being more successful because they were a sweeter soda. So Coke decided to compete with Pepsi and launched New Coke, the sweeter formula, and this ended up being a disaster for them, more or less, because their loyal consumers hated the product. If anything, they became extremely hostile towards Coke, so it was a huge marketing disaster for them. Even though it was code was only in the market for a short time. It goes to show that companies need to be careful when they have such a well-known product that they try to change too much to compete with their competitors.
And the third thing that we learned is the importance of targeting a very specific group of consumers. So in our experience with Marcia, we played around with the price and all the different quality of the products, just trying to really pinpoint the consumers that we wanted to touch. So this just kind of shows our most and money, how they're very close to the savers and the shoppers. Like Michaela was saying, we dropped move just because it wasn't as close. We were able to focus on these better because we really felt it was important to get them exactly where we wanted them to be. I can go to the next one. This is also just showing it that they're very close, and then since we got them a lot closer, we started to do a lot better later on in the game. And then this is the Bodites market. That's our new product that we launched in Mets. If we realized this earlier, to like the importance of pinpointing the products into a very specific group of consumers, we would have been able to produce Mets sooner and get it closer to the target that we wanted to. So a quote from this is a quote from the CEO who made the Made in America movement, and that quote is, "Creating unique content is not enough. Your brand has to create purposeful content and be intentional about reaching the customers in the communities that they are already a part of." So we thought that a good example of this quote and of what we learned in Markstrat is Hasbro toys. Because Hasbro, obviously making toys and games for children, they have a pretty specific market they're trying to reach, as they have to advertise to the kids, so the kids want the toys and the games, but they also have to be appealing to the parents because the parents are typically the ones that are going to be buying the products for their children. So what Hasbro does really well is they analyze the market, and they're able to realize that most of these products that are being purchased are young families that live in suburban areas. And then knowing that market, they were able to identify that the things that those parents wanted in the toys and the games were creativity, education, and safety. So they were able to make most of their toys and their products along those lines to better target their target audience. And then just to kind of wrap things up, those three main things that we learned were the importance of R&D, spending money where you can make money, and targeting specific consumers. We think that if we knew these a little bit better at the beginning of the game, it could have really helped us out. And if we had a second shot at it, we would definitely stress on these points and make hopefully a better run the second time.